What if a black hole appeared near our planet? Imagine looking up at the night sky and noticing a strange patch of darkness, a void where stars should be shining, a cosmic shadow that seems to devour light itself. At first, it is small, distant, almost imperceptible, but soon scientists confirm the unthinkable. A black hole has appeared close to Earth. The very concept rattles the imagination because black holes are not simply objects. They are regions of space where the rules of physics bend to extremes. They represent the edge of our understanding of reality, and if one were ever to drift near our fragile world, the consequences would be both mesmerizing and terrifying. For a moment, picture the entire sky. A familiar dome of stars and constellations that have guided humanity for thousands of years, now being distorted as if seen through an invisible lens. This is gravitational lensing, the warping of light around an immensely dense object, and a black hole would bend the very fabric of space so strongly that the stars would twist and smear into arcs of light. The sight would be awe-inspiring, but it would also serve as an ominous sign of the forces now at play around our planet. Gravity is the first factor to consider because a black hole exerts a pull that grows infinitely stronger as one approaches. If the black hole were extremely close, the Earth would stand no chance, torn apart by tidal forces in a matter of moments. But what if it were near enough to influence our solar system while still allowing time to witness the changes? Slowly, the orbit of Earth would begin to destabilize. Our path around the sun, which has remained steady for billions of years, would start to wobble, tugged by the additional gravitational influence. Satellites would drift from their trajectories, navigation systems would fail, and even the delicate balance of the moon's orbit could be disrupted. The tides that depend on the moon's gentle pull would begin to rise unpredictably, flooding coastlines in ways no storm could rival. As the black hole lingered in our cosmic neighborhood, the sun itself would be threatened. Light would bend around the newcomer, creating eerie halos in the sky. Astronomers would watch helplessly as orbits of distant planets shifted, and even comets and asteroids from the outer solar system were flung in new directions. The possibility of collisions with Earth would rise, adding yet another layer of danger. Beyond the gravitational effects, there is radiation. Black holes are surrounded by an accretion disk when matter falls into them, heating to extreme temperatures and releasing powerful bursts of energy. If gas and dust from our solar system spiraled into the black hole, the night sky could light up with beams of radiation so intense they could strip away parts of Earth's atmosphere. This would not happen silently. The auroras that normally dance in polar skies might expand across the globe, shimmering curtains of light generated by waves of high-energy particles. They would be dazzling, but also deadly, a sign that our protective shield was being compromised. Imagine the daily experience on Earth under such conditions. Gravity fluctuations could subtly affect our bodies, pulling on fluids and altering biological rhythms. Earthquakes might become more frequent as the planet's crust was stressed by shifting gravitational forces. Volcanoes could awaken as molten rock deep below was stirred. Weather patterns would collapse into chaos, driven not only by a destabilized orbit, but also by the dimming or intensifying of sunlight, depending on how Earth's path was bent. Crops could fail, ecosystems could unravel, and humanity would face survival in a world that no longer obeyed the rules we once trusted. Yet amid the terror, there would be wonder. Looking skyward, people would see phenomena never before observed by human eyes. Light bent into glowing arcs, stars smeared into luminous rings around a void that seemed to consume existence. Time itself near the black hole would stretch, a bizarre effect predicted by relativity. If a spacecraft dared to venture close enough, the crew aboard would experience time more slowly than those back on Earth. Minutes for them could be years for us. A reminder that near a black hole, even time is no longer a constant. Scientists would race to study every detail. Telescopes around the world would be trained on the dark visitor, capturing data that could answer fundamental questions about the universe. Could such an event allow us to glimpse the secrets hidden inside a black hole? Or would the danger arrive too swiftly for exploration to matter? Governments and organizations would scramble to prepare for collapse of infrastructure, disruption of technology, and the possibility of mass migration as coastlines vanished. For many, the sight alone would change philosophy and religion. Civilizations have long looked to the sky for meaning, and a black hole hovering near Earth would feel like a cosmic reckoning, a reminder of our fragile place in a vast and indifferent universe. The scenario grows darker the closer we imagine the black hole to be. If its gravitational field tore Earth apart, the planet would stretch and elongate like dough, pulled into streams of matter that spiraled into the void. From a distance, this would form a glowing ribbon called a spaghettification stream, a haunting final image of our world shredded into light and particles. If humanity survived long enough to witness it, this vision would be recorded as the last story of Earth, a tragic but spectacular end. However, if the black hole remained at a safer though still close distance, life could persist, albeit changed forever. Generations would grow under skies dominated by the dark sphere, learning to live with unstable tides, erratic seasons, and a constant sense of looming danger. Technology might evolve in desperate attempts to counteract or adapt to these cosmic forces. Perhaps orbital colonies or underground shelters would be built. Perhaps societies would split between those who sought to flee into space and those who chose to endure on Earth. In either case, humanity would never be the same. As the story unfolds, one realizes that a black hole near our planet is not only a scientific question, but a philosophical one. It forces us to confront mortality on a planetary scale, to recognize that all of human history and achievement rests upon delicate cosmic balances. It makes us ask what legacy we would leave behind if confronted with such inevitable destruction. Would we face it with despair or with awe, marveling at the beauty of the universe even as it closes around us? In the end, the question lingers. What if a black hole appeared near our planet? The answer is both a vision of doom and of wonder, a cosmic reminder that we live in a universe where extraordinary forces lie just beyond the veil of the familiar night sky. To imagine such an event is to acknowledge both our vulnerability and our capacity for curiosity. And perhaps the greatest lesson is that the act of asking such questions, of daring to wonder about the unthinkable, is itself a triumph of the human spirit. If a black hole lingered near Earth for decades or centuries, it would become an eternal presence in human culture, a symbol of both fear and fascination. Artists would paint it, poets would write of its mystery, and children would grow up knowing that the sky held not just stars and planets, but a shadow that consumed light itself. The black hole would become the centerpiece of mythologies and philosophies, shaping how civilizations understood their place in the cosmos. Some might see it as a divine omen, others as the ultimate challenge to human resilience, and still others as a gateway, a portal into realms of space and time we can barely imagine. Scientists would push technology to its limits to study it, sending probes and telescopes closer and closer to the edge of the abyss, each mission risking destruction but promising knowledge that could redefine physics forever. They would hope to observe the event horizon up close, the boundary beyond which nothing can return, and perhaps glimpse the strange effects of matter and energy as they spiral inward. The world would hold its breath as data stream back, revealing truths once hidden in theory. For ordinary people, life would be marked by adaptation. Crops may be engineered to grow under erratic sunlight, coastal cities abandoned for higher ground, societies reshaped around survival in an unstable climate. But through these hardships, humanity might also discover unity, realizing that under the gaze of a cosmic predator, national borders and petty disputes shrink in significance. Facing the enormity of a black hole near Earth could awaken a shared awareness of our fragile yet remarkable existence. The black hole itself would remain indifferent, a silent enigma drifting through space, bound by the same laws of gravity and relativity that shape galaxies. It would not seek to destroy us, nor to spare us. It would simply exist, a monument to the raw power of the universe. And so, the final reflection becomes not about whether we could survive, but about how we would choose to live when confronted with such overwhelming forces. Would we collapse into chaos? Or would we find meaning in wonder, building our legacy in the shadow of the void? The question remains suspended in our imagination. What if a black hole appeared near our planet? The thought lingers like an echo across the cosmos, challenging us to look deeper into the night sky and remember that beyond the stars lies a universe both beautiful and terrifying, where our tiny world spins on borrowed time and fragile balance,